Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we are finally back here again to vote for more in the Game Awards, okay? Or whatever is going to be nominated in the Game Awards. I did see a couple leaks, a little bit of the announcement of the nominees. So I know a couple, and oh, I have a bone to pick. Oh, there's some problems here we got to talk about, but we'll get to it. Stay tuned. There's a lot that happened this year. I'm hoping there's certain games present. We'll see. But like I said, I know a couple, and some things are definitely not present, so let's go. Okay, starting off, we are gonna look at the best esports team. Now, I will say that this site is stupid. I just wanna let you know, whoever runs it, Jeff or whatever people are working on this website, whenever you go to vote for categories, Game of the Year is first. Why? Hey, why? You know what I mean? Why? Anyways, it's neither here nor there. It's just something I like to complain about. Best esports team. Recognizing a specific esports team, not the full organization, judge the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2024. All right. Again, this is the second year. Hopefully you guys know this by now. I don't care about esports. I'm not a big esports guy. Great for them, making money, you know, making it a career. That gives an option to a lot of people who get into gaming, kind of want to make it their life or their, it's just another avenue to make a lot of money. If you're that good, if you're that skilled, good for them. I personally, I don't watch it. I may watch some Evo here and there, but that's about it. You know what I mean? But all these I'm not really into, so I'm just gonna vote randomly. If I vote for the team you like, then put a 1 in the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna vote for T1. Because, hey, I just got done watching Arcane episode 6. Why not, you know? Best esports game. For the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform. That's a lot to read. We're gonna vote for Valorant. I never played Valorant, but hey, I hear it's good. I hear it's good. All right, let's go to the next one. Content Creator of the Year. Again, shunned another year in a row. Gordo's not on here. I don't know why. Like and sub. But Queso's the only one I know, and let's be honest, he's so popular, he's probably gonna win. We'll go to the next one. Most anticipated game. Oh, now we're in the nitty gritty. Oh, now we're talking video games. Now we're into it, okay? Now we're looking at the future. We're looking ahead at games that are gonna revolutionize our future, okay? Most anticipated game. Recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. I think out of all these games, the one that may be most anticipated, obviously, is probably Grand Theft Auto 6. That game was making so much money that even when they released the PS4 and then they made the remastered version of it, it had so much life. It kept going up until a couple years ago. It kind of still is relevant to this day. People still play it like crazy. It was like the top of the earning charts for months and months and years. It's killed it. So there's a way bigger fan base out there for that. However, I do think a lot of people are looking forward to all these games, but Metroid Prime 4's announcement and then re-announcement, a lot of people are waiting for that game. Now, I will put a little asterisk next to it that I think there still is a chance that this game is not coming next year. Sorry, I'm not Nintendo, don't yell at me. But hey, like I said, it's gotten 2 announcements. When is this thing gonna happen? I'm pretty sure it was in development hell for years, and now we're not really seeing much on it. You know what I mean? What's gonna happen next year? I don't know. I think overall, I'm most excited for Metroid Prime 4. There's a lot of hype around it, and we've been waiting a long time for it. So let's go Metroid Prime 4, baby. Okay, next. Ooh. All right, next thing is best adaptation, which we know who's gonna win this, but we're gonna go through it anyways. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Now, we all know that this is gonna be Knuckles. We all know that, right? I think everybody in the crowd knows that this is gonna be Knuckles. Am I being serious right now? Of course not. It's gonna be Arcane. Arcane's gonna win this landslide victory. However, I will say a lot of people liked Fallout. A lot of people liked, some of the Sonic movies. I personally like the first one. You know what I mean? It's not fully for me. It's a little kiddie, but it's good. You know, it's a good, for a video game movie, it's a good video game movie. I'll give it that. I heard Like a Dragon was dog shit, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Tomb Raider I didn't watch. But Arcane, dude. Arcane is peak. I'm in the middle of the new season. Oh my God. Okay, next up is Best Multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. You have Warhammer, you have Tekken, you have Super Mario Party Jamboree, you have Helldivers 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So, out of these games, Warhammer's multiplayer was dog shit. Now, I know you guys are like, that game's great. I love that game. It might be my game of the year. That's cool. It is a great game. I'm not taking it from that. But my experiences in the multiplayer realm were kind of mid. Linking up with my buddy who was on Xbox, shout out Steve, we were trying to link up and it would take like 10 minutes to like get together. It was rough. It was, it was on and off. It was going to take a long time or not. And then the multiplayer itself was okay. Like, it was fun to play for a while, but there's no longevity and there's no way to skill your way out of a 2v1. It's kind of the thing. So if you are facing two enemies, most of the time you're going to lose. Whereas like Call of Duty or like any other game, you may be able to like weasel your way out or like, drop both, or, you know what I mean? You can kind of do some John Wick shit. This game kind of limits you. The game is great. Go check it out. But if you like horde shooters, it's kind of fun. Speaking of horde shooters, Helldivers 2 is an amazing multiplayer experience. You know what I mean? Fucking everybody saluting together, everybody, calling in the fucking, I forgot what they're called. Beep boop, beep boop, like Predator. You know what I mean? That stuff's kind of cool. That stuff's fun. But I do think these horde style games kind of have a limit to their fun. And for me, at least, that's personally, I mean, you guys may love these games. For me, it has a limit to the fun. Super Mario Party Jamboree I have not played, but I heard great things about. I love Super Mario Party, but my friends never want to get together and play it. So there's that, and then Tekken 8, we ran its course. That game had another problem where, how should I say this? Eddie Gordo fucking released on the game and became a nuisance. And then after that, the balance issues kind of went rampant, and then the updates were kind of lacking. And then overall, it's just like, okay, it's slow cooking it. They released some new characters, Hiachi. So it just seems like the game is kind of sloping downward. They really need like a little revamp into the balancing. But I did love that game for what it was. However, just the multiplayer for me didn't last that long. Now that leaves us to Call of Duty. And for Call of Duty, one thing I will say about this year, and I know you guys are going to be like, oh, it's Call of Duty, who fucking cares? Which I agree, who cares? But I'll say this. Treyarch does it right. And that's the thing. Treyarch does it fantastically right. Okay? I'm sorry if you guys love these other games, but Treyarch does it right. Every fucking time. Cold War was a banger. The old other Black Ops were bangers. You know what I mean? They just do it right. World at War. Black Ops 6 is super fun. They've already updated. The game just came out and they've already updated it with a whole new season, or I guess the first season. 3 new maps. They got new guns. They have the skins on there, which I would argue that are very money grabby, money hungry, and they're kind of expensive. But overall, the game is solid. The game is super fun. The guns feel great. The maps are great. They got Nuketown on there. You know what I mean? Hardcore is a blast. I'm gonna vote Call of Duty. I'm sorry to all the people who are like Call of Duty haters out there. You know what I mean? Them sugar cookie getters. Best sports and racing for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. You got F124, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25, and WWE 2K24. I'm not a big sports guy. And on top of that, I'm not a big any of these games guy. Well, I guess WWE might be the only thing I'm kind of into. So I'll probably vote for WWE. I know it's not going to probably win. It'll probably be like NBA or something, but WWE was pretty fun this year. I will say they're stuck in that 2K model that 2K25 stuck in, where it's microtransaction heavy, and then they leave things out on purpose to kind of slow cook the game for the next iteration. It kind of kills the whole vibe of it a little bit. Add more to the GM mode. I don't know. It's not that hard. Best sim and strategy. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Age of Mythology, Frostpunk 2, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, Manor Lords, Unicorn Overlord. The only game I know here is Kunitsugami, and it was pretty fun. I played a demo. It was pretty fun. Best family for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. The Plucky Squire, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Princess Peach, Showtime, Astrobot. Now, out of these, family play is always like a thing where I'm kind of, are they just saying rated E, or are they just saying a family game. Because if you look at Plucky Squire, that's a solo game. Legend of Zelda solo game, Astrobot solo game. So, yeah, it's like from the family perspective, anybody in the family can play it. But does that make it a family game, you know? I personally think family games are something that you can play with other people, something you spend time with family playing, not just a family appropriate game. So I personally lean Super Mario Party. I don't need to play it. I've played Super Mario Party before. I know it's great. I think that might be the best one here for family. Best fighting game. For the best game, designed primarily around head-to-head combat. Sparking Zero, you got Grand Blue, MVC Collection, Multiverses, Tekken 8. Bro, this one's kind of tough. And there's a little bit of recency bias with Sparking Zero because I'm kind of like, the game just came out. Very well done. The online is also an unbalanced mess, much like Tekken 8. And out of these games, honestly, I'm only voting Tekken 8 or Sparking Zero. And to be honest, as much as I love Tekken, I'm a diehard Tekken fan. I think I spent the most time in Tekken. I was about to say I might vote for Sparking Zero, but the more I started describing Tekken, I was like, I did have a good time on that. I actually bought like a fight stick. Like this game made me buy a fight stick for the first time. Don't have it anymore because I suck with it. But I did learn a character. I learned, what's his name? Victor or Vincent? I can't remember. I think it's Vincent. Or no, Victor. But I learned him to a T and got really high up in the rankings. I played ranked all the time. It was a blast. It was actually really, really fun. But knowing the kind of downhill slope it's doing right now, I'm kind of worried about its future. But overall, we're looking at the best game this year. Sparking Zero is a little recent, dude. I don't know. I'm stuck between. They both have the same issues, kind of. The unbalanced issues. You have Sparking Zero, with Yajirobe being God tier until recently. You have Tekken 8, where Eddie Gordo just is there. You know what I mean? He exists. He's a real guy. So, you know what? I don't know. I'm stuck between the two. So we're going to vote Multiverses. You know what I mean? This doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You fans are gonna outvote me on this. Best RPG for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Metaphor Refantasio. I just bought this game, and I'm still in the middle of playing this game, so I don't know yet on this one, but we'll see. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Urge, or Dragon's Dog Shit. Okay, so Dragon's Dog Shit did a lot of cool things. Ran like dog shit. That's why I call it Dragon's Dog Shit. Ran at like sub 40 frames or something, maybe even 30 frames or something like that. And I don't even think it had a performance mode for a while. I hear that it runs well now on the Pro, but overall, that game suffered from performance issues like crazy. And honestly, as a performance buff myself, I love when games perform well. Even if the game's kind of dog shit, I can put a lot of that shit behind me because I'm like, oh, look how buttery it looks. Oh, look at the graphics. Look, you know, hear the sound design. Look at the product in front of me. Look at the game. You know what I mean? Look at the gaming in front of me. But what pulls me out is stutters, is lag, is frame drops, is the standard performance issues you kind of run into with video games nowadays. So whenever Dragon's Dogma started having these issues, or kind of came out and had these issues, I'm like, yo, what gives? You know what I mean? What gives? What do you want me to do with this? However, there are a couple games that exist here, you know? Never got into Like a Dragon fully. I played a little, but I never got fully into it, so I'll give it that. So that might be somebody's jam. Metaphor so far is great. I have yet to dive super deep, so we'll see. But I think in my voting, these two right here, Elden Ring and Final Fantasy Rebirth, are up for grabs. But here comes my first gripe with this year's nominees. And I'm only saying this because there are other games that are being ignored for this to happen in a way. So I'll just say this, and I'll keep it simple because I love FromSoft. I love Elden Ring. Platinumed it twice. Okay? Completed the demo, or not the demo, the DLC. So I'm the guy. I love these games. I don't think DLC should be in the Game of the Year or any of these nominees unless they have like a DLC section or something. It just doesn't make sense to me. I will say that this was a pretty big expansion, but it was still a pretty big expansion to a game that we've already rewarded before. So it kind of takes away from the allure of voting for it again. As much as I did like it, I don't think it was better than the main game. even still, like, even if the accolades were on the table and we're looking at the game versus the DLC, personally, it's not really beating the game for me. I don't know about you guys, but it did some cool stuff. Mesmer was cool, but not beating the game. I didn't double plat, but whatever. So I think that leaves one game, and that's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You know, coming off the previous game, this game just expanded the shit out of everything. And they don't even have to do this, you know what I mean? They went above and beyond for Final Fantasy game, for Final Fantasy VII fans. But I will say, I never played the old Final Fantasy VII, so I'm just a fan diving in for the first time, and this game is phenomenal. I haven't beat it yet, I will admit that. But it's only because I was waiting for the PS5 Pro. PS5 Pro runs it great, you know what I mean? I also had performance issues, but PS5 Pro runs it better. It runs it at like 60 frames, quality mode. I'm gonna be back on there soon, baby. You watch. But yeah, that RPG is great, dude. That is an RPG-esque RPG. Best action adventure game. Okay, here we go. Here we go into some of the controversy, okay? And now I'm mad. I'm mad instantly, okay? Best action adventure. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Which is honestly, when they word it that way, my vote doesn't sound like it goes to where I need it to go. Astrobot I wouldn't really consider an action adventure, but I guess it is from that definition. There are puzzles, there are traversal, you know what I mean? Prince of Persia exists, that's cool. Silent Hill 2, amazing. My first time playing Silent Hill 2 in my life was on this game, the remake. Never played the original. And as a first time player, this game was phenomenal, dude. I was like, I need to make a review on this. I need to do all kinds of stuff. I didn't do anything on it because I was too busy playing, but I am gonna go back for the platinum. But it's just it's so good. The story was phenomenal. The gameplay was solid. That's the thing. When they word it this way, in my head, I'm like, combat wasn't really the main focus of Silent Hill 2 at all. You literally have like a bat and a gun, and that's kind of it. You know what I mean? There's not really like a lot of combat. So by this definition, it doesn't sound like the best action adventure. However, there are things in the future that we have to address called Game of the Year. And we're going to say this, okay? I'm upset by Game of the Year nominees for this year. So I'm not going to say fully why yet. We're just going to tiptoe around and vote for Silent Hill 2 here. Because if it doesn't get an award on this night. Oh, next up, best action game. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Warhammer Space Marine 2. Of course, best action game. A lot of people love Wukong. And going into that game, I was so hyped from all the trailers and all the previews they did. That dev put a lot of love into that game, and it looked so beautiful before the game came out, and they like switched engines even before it came out, and it definitely solidified into the game it is now. I will say there is a little bit of like performance issues on that too, because it's kind of like baseline Unreal Engine stuff. So there are some like gimmicky stuff with the motion blur and little intricacies, but overall the gameplay was pretty fun. And I will say out of these games, that and Stellar Blade are like my top two. Stellar Blade has boobas, Wukong doesn't, okay? Stellar Blade has smooth combat. Wukong kinda does, but kinda doesn't. Stellar Blade runs smoothly. Wukong doesn't really. So personally, and I know you guys are gonna be like, it does. I know, but we're voting Stellar Blade here. I'm sorry. And this goes back to my point of, hey, there's reasons why we're voting for some games, right? Because some things are missing in the future. Best VR AR. I'll be honest, don't have a VR anymore. So let's vote. Metal Hellsinger. Because I played the real game, and that game's tight. You get to shoot to the beat, M to the beat. Let's carry on. Best mobile game. Oh, this is an easy one again, but let's talk about it. For the best game playable on a mobile device, AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon Pocket, Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero. Obviously, the world-renowned Pokemon Pocket is gonna win this. It just came out, recency bias to the max, but I spent money on the game already. Okay, I'll admit it. I'm not scared to say it. I'll admit it. I'm almost done with the Pokédex. That's how fucking far into it I am. This game's awesome. The combat is so fun. It makes Pokemon, the trading card game, actually playable for newcomers. Like, I was never into the actual game, but oh, am I into it here? Oh, this is lovely. Oh, this is smooth. Let's carry on. That game's awesome. Best debut indie game. Ooh. Lucky Squire. Pacific Drive. Manor Lords. Sounds like Banner Lords. Balatro. Animal Well. And now, there's one game on this list that I spent a lot of time on. There's one game on this list that I streamed and actually made content on to the max until I got the platinum. There's one game on this list that is phenomenal in every way, and I think everyone here should play it, and that is Animal Well. Animal Well is amazing, so much so that I was like, this should, when I played it, I was like, this is going to be, you know, talked about as game of the year, possibly like a potential game of the year at the time. We'll get to that later, you know what I mean? Like I said, we got some bones to pick here, but the game kind of doesn't tell you what to do. It literally just goes, hey, here you are. Figure it out. Literally nothing, just go. And what happens, dude? It literally is so well designed, so intricately designed that you will slowly run into the things that you need to find. And it never got to the point where you're like, I don't know where to go, I'm lost. It's like, oh, there's a big, a big part of the area that's just grayed out. How do I get there? You're slowly trying to find that. You find it. Oh, big boss there. Oh, what the hell do I do now? You know, oh, I gotta go get this item. Go down here. So it's literally letting you do shit, letting you figure out all on your own, and it rewards you for it. And it's so awesome. The designs of the of all the creatures you see is so sick. The ambience, the music, man, this game is sick. So high recommend for me. Best independent game. Now, this is cutting the middle ground and going, yo, best independent game entirely. The last one was a debut independent game. I'm still gonna vote for Animal Well. However, I hear Neva is made by the same creators of Gree, which has won a couple awards before in different, it might be different events or whatever, but it has won awards before, and those devs are amazing, and I would assume this game is amazing too. I just have yet to dive into it. But Animal Well for me. I hear Balatro's great too, don't get me wrong. I haven't actually heard of these other two, but Balatro, people love that shit, and that's going to lead into our discussion in a little bit. You know what I mean? We're getting there. Oh, we're getting there. You guys just sit tight. We're getting there. I'm getting there. Oh, I'm getting there. Okay. Best community support. Recognized a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, No Man's Sky. I'm going to vote Fortnite. I feel like it's not going to win just because they win. I feel like they should win every year, to be honest. The way they upkeep Fortnite is insane. They should win every year. But I'm sure the vote this year will probably go to Baldur's Gate because of its popularity from last year, or even No Man's Sky because that's still getting massive updates. Who knows? Best ongoing, again, Fortnite. I'm sorry, guys. You know, I'm sure Destiny 2. One of these other games. These are kind of categories I don't really care because best ongoing. Okay, you know what I mean? But good for them. Good for all these games for being nominated and actually having a community and a dev that cares about them. So, good job. Good job, gaming. Games for Impact for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaningful message. Tales of Kinzera Zhao, Hellblade 2, Life is Strange, Neva, Indica, Closer the Distance. There are, 2 games here I played. I wanted to play Life is Strange, but I kind of haven't got around to it. Is, you know, whatever. I'll get to it eventually. Indica was super interesting. Super interesting. I don't think I enjoyed the gameplay aspect of it too much because it was kind of slow paced, but the puzzles were interesting. But yeah, that's cool. But you know what I mean? If we're talking about with a thought-provoking game, Hellblade 2 is that in spades. That game makes you think at every turn of a corner. You know what I mean? That game is amazing. It goes deep into somewhat mental health. It goes deep into doubting yourself. It dives into family drama, personal relationships, and how they mold you. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm one who's been saying, yo, Xbox hasn't had a good game in a long time. That game is the one I was like, yo, you're over here spending money on Forza and all these other games. This game was phenomenal. Innovation and accessibility. recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. I do not really keep up enough on the accessibility stuff. So I am probably going to vote Dragon Age best performance. Best performance. Okay, awarded to an individual for voice acting, motion, and or performance capture. Hannah Tell, Life is Strange. Brianna White. This is Aerith from Final Fantasy Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh my lord. Umberly Gonzalez. I have not played that game. Luke Roberts. Dude, the dude looks like fucking... I didn't know he modeled James. That's pretty cool. I mean, it looks like him, right? I don't know if he modeled. Maybe he didn't. But he should probably sue if not. You know what I mean? Then you got Melina Juergens, which I'll be honest, as I said, one of the most impactful games I played this year, hands down, is Hellblade 2. There's so much in that game that is just artistically well done, and it's all mostly, like maybe 70% of it is reliant on her facial expressions, her emotions, her output as an actor. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. And again, Silent Hill 2 had amazing sound design. Don't get me wrong. The radio going off whenever you're near an enemy, all kinds of stuff like that. It had very well designed. Very well designed. It had very good design. However, and you know, obviously the music in Rebirth, the music and sound and the feels, I guess feels, that's not really audio, but technically, I mean, whenever the haptics go off in the DualSense, it's kind of like a speaker in a way. They've literally used that for like haptics in the Switch. All that being said, I think Hellblade, dude, they have like small, distinct whispers, and there's so many moments where they'll do like whispers, and then they'll have this like grand voice like come in and be like, Senua's not da 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 da. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is happening? But the audio design in Hellblade is unmatched. Best score in music: Stellar Blade, Silent Hill 2, Metaphor, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Astrobot. Astrobot has some bangers, dude. Fuck, I don't know. I want to say Astrobot or Rebirth. I'll probably do Rebirth. You know what I mean? It's Final Fantasy music, bro. And it's, you know, Final Fantasy 7 music. Can't go wrong with that. Best art direction. Oh, we're getting close to the nitty gritty. We're getting down to it. Neva looks amazing. Metaphor has been pretty great artistically so far. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Black Myth, Wukong, Astrobot. Black Myth has some very interesting design choices. Astrobot's pretty samey. I wouldn't really give it to that, but I think Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree for artistic direction, bro. They have a thing where like you go out at the beginning of that game, or at the beginning of the DLC, because it's not a game, right? Game Awards, it's not a game. And it just gives you a big vista, like a landscape of golden flowers. That first feeling I got from that DLC, man, it's all about art direction. And Mesmer, man, the close-ups of their boss battles whenever they zoom in and kind of give you their little intros, like, yeah, they did some crazy shit, and I honestly think FromSoft should not always get it, but they should get recognized a lot more for their art design. It is very underrated. Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. The only 2 games I completed on this list so far. I'm gonna go back and complete this. I'm gonna try to complete that. I hear it's very long. I'm probably not gonna play that one. But Hellblade 2 and Silent Hill 2, narratively and storytelling, both games are phenomenal. I do think the twists and turns in Hellblade were kind of more emotionally impactful, more impactful in general as a story. Silent Hill 2, obviously, it's all about ambience, and they kind of build that world where you're in this foggy town and you're dealing with a lot of these creatures and you're trying to see what's going on. There are deeper connections to his psyche, to what actually happened, to, you know, his wife and everything. Like, there's so many ties to things. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think that develops somewhat in a way you kind of expect. For Hellblade 2, there's at every moment you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't really know what's going to lead into what or why things are happening. So once you start getting answers and once things start developing for sure, or you kind of piece together like, oh, both games kind of deal with both, you know, things in your head, but oh, this is Senua kind of dealing with stuff, and this is kind of a metaphor almost. It's kind of like a metaphor refantasio. Oh, wait, what is that? Was that a game? No. Dumb jokes aside, Hellblade 2 is phenomenal. I'm going to give it to Hellblade 2. I love Silent Hill 2. We'll get to it, okay? I'm not done talking about Silent Hill 2, but Hellblade 2 deserves this. Best game direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. See, that's the thing. Game direction. Why is a DLC there? It doesn't make sense. But in terms of game direction, I might give this one to Final Fantasy, dude. Final Fantasy, it was a little long in the tooth, but I will say direction-wise, the creative vision of transforming a old game into a new and kind of making it something fresh to the point where, oh, you're able to see massive portions of the game that were not there before. They expand on the game in so many ways to the point where it's its own new world. But for returning players, unlike me, they got to experience something in a new way almost. So very impressive what they did. And here is the biggest thing in this whole, I was borderline not even gonna make a video. And then I was like, I saw these and I was like, what are we doing? Now I want to reiterate, or not even reiterate, I want to iterate that as much as many people want to ask Jeff Keighley what this is, and as much as Jeff Keighley wants to go, this isn't my choice, you know what I mean? I think both can be true in a way. I feel like we should be going to Jeff for this. And I feel like Jeff 100% has the ability to do things that he's kind of putting off on his counsel or whatever, whoever's doing it. But that's neither here nor there. We shouldn't point fingers at anybody. However, we should ask questions. And one of the questions I want to ask is, where is Silent Hill 2? Answer me that. I get it. People are going to be like, it's a remake. Hello? Hello? Oh, hello? The fuck? You know what I mean? And then you got like, all right. Then you got this shit where it's like the DLC is up for Game of the Year. That literally doesn't make sense. And I know I'm probably going to be in like the echo chamber of people complaining about it, but it's absolutely unacceptable. I do not enjoy that at all. I don't respect it. I don't like it. I don't love it. I hate it. There's no reason. Now, do not get me wrong. I loved the DLC. I love Elden Ring. But it's kind of a slap in the face. It's kind of a slap in the face conceptually, if you think about it. If you look at Fortnite, for example, and this is going to be a stretchy comparison, but just stick with me. If you look at Fortnite, right? And let's say that was a single player game. And it is getting updated at the speed of Fortnite. Okay? Does that make it worth being announced for Game of the Year? Shadow of the Erdtree, it's not a standalone game, so technically it doesn't count as that. But I guess they're saying, hey, this year Elden Ring was the Game of the Year held up by Shadow of the Erdtree. You know what I mean? By way of Shadow of the Erdtree. I just think it's a stretchy, slippery slope that is also kind of fucked up because there's a lot of games that, not only Silent Hill 2, but there's a lot of games that are missing. Like there are full devs out there that worked on full games, fresh ideas. And this is being stunted, whatever word you want to say, by Shadow of the Erdtree. And to an extent, Balatro. Don't kill me. Don't kill me, Balatro. Don't kill me. But I will say that Balatro, it's not just a mobile game. It's on consoles too, but you know what I mean? Kind of stretching the limits here. It leads to the question, what justifies a Game of the Year? What happens? Why is the decision left up to a couple people? Because I'm assuming that's what it was. It's not, because it sounds like there's like a council of people and they chose these games as potential Game of the Years. And I'm like, okay, but if it's a small amount of people, 10, 20, if 10 of them played Balatro and the world doesn't know about it, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? I feel like this should kind of be, honestly, and I don't think it hurts to do anything. And I get, they have a whole thing with game awards where they do the orchestra and they mix all the music. But I think there should be like a sub voting category for this. There should be like the 6 biggest. I would be happy with this if they had like a small list to the side that just said Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade, Pokemon Pocket, since we're doing mobile games. You know what I mean? Shit like that. like certain games that were not really left or that were left off. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a real big fan of how they chose to do it this year. I do feel like certain things are kind of missing, and I feel like there could have been better spots. And that's my argument with Balatro. I don't really want to hate on Balatro because I personally haven't fully dove into it. It might be a great game. It's probably fun. But I just think that, like, does Balatro compare at all to any of these games? At all? Does Balatro hold the same weight as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Does it even hold a candle to Black Myth Wukong? You know what I mean? I know different strokes for different folks, but is it a metaphor of ReFantasio? I don't know, man. It seems weird, dude. Man, it sucks. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, I don't think should deserve this at all. They've already won Game of the Year, which I know is like, who cares? It's semantics, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people love Shadow of the Erdtree. I just personally think this should be held up for a game that is made from the ground up as a full game, start to finish, versus it being a DLC. I don't think DLC should count. I also personally didn't really play Balatro, so my opinion may be different than yours. You guys may love it. It may be a worldwide phenomenon. I don't know. But if we're gonna go off those markers, why isn't Pokemon Pocket here? Let's just look at our categories. Let's look at our choices, and let's make a decision. Okay. I played Astrobot. I played Wukong. I played Shadow of the Erdtree. I played Rebirth. I played a little of Metaphor. I played a little of Balatro. So my Game of the Year out of these, which personally, it would be Silent Hill 2. My personal Game of the Year is Silent Hill 2. It is a remake, but so is Rebirth. And it is phenomenal start to finish. I know a lot of people, not even a lot of people, I heard some talks of like, that game isn't as hype as people say, or maybe they played the old one and they were like, it did a good job. Good job at recreating the stuff I love. Cool. But it wasn't as like mind-blowing for some people. For me, first time playing, absolutely phenomenal. Probably the storytelling was amazing. The gameplay world was fun. And honestly, I think there is a thin line between fun and not fun when it comes to like those RE style games where you can kind of like go around and like, oh man, is it a struggle for weapons? Is it a struggle for ammo? Is it too much of a struggle? Is it something that I can conserve? Is it something I can be safe on? Should I, and it plays those mind games on you. For Silent Hill, it may have been a little easy for some people, but overall, I think I had a fair balance between challenge and reward, and the story just kept building and building, and graphically it looked amazing. And this was a game I wasn't even gonna buy when it came out, or when it was announced, because the trailer looked ass. I don't know why it looked ass, but it just looked ass to me. So I had a full 360 moment on that game, and I think overall, you can't go wrong with it. But again, not up for grabs, is it? It's not a fucking option. And all that being said, like I said, just put 6 and then list the rest on the bottom, dude. If it's Game of the Year, you can go ahead and do an orchestra on these. Totally fine. But add a list of games. Honestly, it should be damn near every game and just let people vote. But hey, you know what I mean? I don't know the semantics. But if the council voted for these, add a little list. Let me click my Silent Hill 2 and we'll be out. You know what I mean? If it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's just what I think. Anyways, Astrobot wins. Astrobot wins, in my opinion, simply because it was super fresh. It obviously it was an homage to a lot of PlayStation stuff. It was a lot of fun. They expanded further on the Astro's Playroom thing they did for the start of the PlayStation cycle. So to see it kind of come back in full form, which is something I've been preaching about back when I had a podcast. I was constantly saying, yo, Astrobot Playroom, it needs to become a full game. And they finally did it. And I think it was awesome. The puzzling, the platforming, it actually rivaled Mario, which is kind of tough to do. And it made a solid mascot. I mean, technically a mascot for Sony almost. I don't think they're officially calling it that, but they are kind of being quiet about anything Little Big Planet, and they're even removing that shit from the PS3 stores, turning off servers. It might be a coincidence, but it's just a thing. This is what I wanted to bring up there. But Astro Bot was amazing, dude. I absolutely loved it. I think Final Fantasy Rebirth was a little long, and I fell off, and I still need to go back and finish it. Erdtree, I think personally, like I said, Elden Ring, the main game is better. Black Myth Wukong, I didn't fully play. I didn't like. I played like maybe a quarter of the game, and I fell off. It just wasn't Souls, you know what I mean? There's certain like caveats to all these things. And Metaphor and Balatro. Hey man, if you guys love that shit, vote for it. Let your voice be heard. I'm not one to like fully shit on these things. I'm just kind of more shitting on the choice for them to be here at the Game Awards or at the Game of the Year. But overall, I'm sure they're amazing. I heard a lot of shit about Balatro. People talking about like losing sleep over it. So it might be bigger than I think. Metaphor, have personal friends saying it's amazing. They love it. That's the reason I bought it, was because of word of mouth. But overall, man, I think Astrobot was the perfect amount of perfect length of a game. I think it was the perfect quality for a game. The music was amazing. The platforming was nostalgic. The ending was great. The challenge was great. There's a couple levels where I was just like banging my head against a wall. And yeah, I just think overall it's a solid game, man. I would vote this or even Rebirth. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think Silent Hill is my win, is my main game. So kind of seeing these options, I'm kind of let down to the point where I don't fully care who wins. If Balatro wins Game of the Year, good for them. Metaphor, you know, all these games have their own right of being here. But I just think they should have chose differently outside. You know, Erdtree shouldn't be here, but I can see arguments for anything here. Even Erdtree, really, I just don't agree with the DLC argument. But yeah, that has been the voting. We have voted everything, okay? We have done all the voting. We are complete. We are one. Let's we'll tune back in whenever the Game Awards come on in December. And yeah, we'll revisit this, okay? Let me know what you guys think is your Game of the Year in the comments below, okay? It could be anything too. It doesn't have to be this. Maybe put one where you vote for what you voted for in this polling, and then put a one under it for your personal. Just put personal, and then plop it in there. Ayo. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys chilling with me. This has been a fun thing to do. I love looking over the games over the past year for these Game Awards. I will be probably officially co-streaming it again. I usually do that every year, so we'll see. I'll see you then. Come tune in. And yeah, you guys have a fantastic day.